Record. Okay, welcome everybody, and welcome to this morning's webinar on Tuesday, the 7th of July on flight. Now, I'm just rearranging my screen here so I can see all of the questions and the chat coming in. We've still got some people dropping into the session. That's all good. So just to get us started, some simple housekeeping. You can see in your GoToWebinar panel, there is a chat session there. If you want to send me any just good chat here, like you could tell me what the weather is. The weather is sunny in Queensland. Right, good. Okay, then. So you should see that coming up in the chat message there. There's also a questions panel. Now, do please send me questions as we go along through the webinar. I'll try to keep my eye on the questions and answer them either as they come in or pick them up at the end of the webinar. I do really want us to run for around about 40 minutes today. There's quite a decent amount of content to get through. I'll be going through flight generally. So currently on screen, you should see my login to flight. And I'll be going through the standard flight features and whilst doing so, show some of the new features as well. Now then, as the feature of today's presentation, I'm really going to go through an exercise showing how you can make portals available within flight. I'm going to do a scenario. It'll be towards the end of the presentation. It'll go through the new approval process, show the branding that you can apply for a portal, and it'll show you how you can share content either with other people that you collaborate, or you could be using Flight for your own, for customers or clients, or for another organization. Alrighty, okay then. So now I haven't seen anything come in through the chat message, so I'm assuming you can all hear and you can all see okay. You would tell me otherwise, so we'll kick off. So welcome to Flight. So you see me here on the login page. I've customized the login page with a picture I took recently when I was in New Zealand, a welcome message up here, and you can see it's fully branded DataBasics. Okay, so I'm just going to log in now and come into my flight portal. So just looking through the types of people that are in. Aaron tells me it's cold in Melbourne. Yes, I believe my mother was telling me it was very cold in Sydney as well. So that's not unusual. Right. Now then, I can see there's quite a few people that haven't seen Flight before. So, I had intended to go through general capabilities of the Flight solution. Now, it's just been pointed out to me, you can only see my browser window on the screen. Right, so like I've got my browser just showing on a part of my computer screen, and I'll do things all within Flight that are within the browser. There are things that you can do drag and drop with Flight, but seeing I'm just projecting my browser, you wouldn't see if I did that because all that was happening off screen. Right, okay, and so how I'm going to start showing you Flight is go through the smart albums up the top here. You can see that we can catalog a whole wide range of different content into Flight, and starting first on the left hand side with images, which it defaults to. You can see that we've got a big range of different types of image files. We've got significantly a number of JPEGs. We've also got some DNGs, that's a digital camera format. TIFFs, that's another digital camera format. There's some PNGs there. So there's about a dozen or so image formats that you can catalog into Flight. Now, and for all of these different image formats, you can see that we generate thumbnails. So you'll see that consistently throughout all of the presentation for the different file formats. And it'll do previews of all of the different files for you on the screen. So I'll just flick through a couple of these different previews. Another nice picture of Brisbane in black and white. One of my images from the crime genre. This was a photograph taken off the beach of Fremantle, a lightning storm out to sea. Well, there's some wine barrels. Are they wine barrels? I think so, yes. The corporate image here, that's the TIFF. This is the Nikon digital camera format, a family photograph there. A PNG, that's my niece in Auckland. And yeah, back to some pictures from Coromandel. So you can see that all of the different images that you upload into Flight, you'll be able to see both previews and the thumbnails for. Down in the bottom right-hand part of the screen, you can see that there is a range of different controls to set how everything is being displayed. So we can choose which thumbnail size, so we could go up to a large thumbnail if we like. Now I'm going to sit with the small thumbnails during this presentation. You can have the thumbnail view, which is showing at the moment, or you can have a list view. So I'll just swap around to the list view. When you have assets shown in the list view, when you pass your cursor over them, you will see a little comment. This is the description is being shown as well, which is really helpful. That's good. I will stick mainly to the thumbnail view here. You can also set the sort order, whether it's sorting by date or alphabetically. By default, Flight sorts the assets based upon the flight that the time that they were last modified. So up the top here is one that I was just playing with before the presentation, going down to the oldest or most has not been modified for a while. So that's good. It shows you what is the current content. Moving along here, we'll go to videos. So videos is a very strong part of Flight. Again, we can see a wide range of different video formats here. We've got a MOV, an AVI, a Windows format here, MP4s, a Flash. Now then, the one I'm going to show you here is this MP4. And what is really outstanding about the Flight product is how well it streams video. So if I just click on the play button here, and I have to turn the sound right down because it's really loud in my ears. Now, how the GoToWebinar works, you don't hear the sound, but yeah, this is HD and it's playing in HD quality. And what is particularly outstanding is I can grab the cursor and can scrub forward to any part of the video and right through it over here. You notice I don't have to wait for it to download to wherever I've scrubbed forward to, which is really quite astounding. It's a great piece of technology, and I can also scrub backwards. And that is better than what you see most video streaming solutions do. Even things like YouTube or Vimeo have trouble when you scrub backwards. That's a really good presentation there. Now then, that's about a 50 odd megabyte file. This one here, a friend sent to me the other day. She's a budding actress. This is about, well, it's 13 and a half minutes here. And it's about 150 megs, right? So now we're getting into quite a large video format. And do remember, I'm at the same time I'm running this webinar, I'm also doing the recording. So I'm taking up a lot of space here, generally through bandwidth, but I'm still able to play this video. Just cut the volume down right through to the end. I'll go over here somewhere. Right. It's a bit like Picnic at Hanging Rock, if you've ever seen Picnic at Hanging Rock. It's all good, right? So that's right through to 11 minutes into the video, and I can scrub right back over here to the beginning, right? And that's really quite outstanding video play quality, which is great. Okay, moving right along to the other formats using the Smart Album here. Audio. Now then, yes, we store a whole lot of audio files. I can click and play these. It's really boring in the webinar because you can't hear them. So, yep, we can do audio. I'll move straight along. Documents. Documents are really interesting. Again, we have that little description appearing when you pass your cursor over the different files here. You can see we've got everything from Word documents, EPS, PDFs. We can generate previews of these files as well. Move between different assets here. So, all of the document types as well. Flight is managing to catalog, extract the information, and make available visually via the previews. Presentations are essentially PowerPoint formats here. Yeah, we get that little description here again. We can go and see the preview over here. It's a smaller preview. And we can see some more information about the presentations later on. Right, other Smart Album, enigmatically called others. Basically, what file formats are automatically grouped into these Smart Albums appear here over as others. And you can see we've got everything from Flash movies, InDesign templates, and I don't know what sort of audio format it is. This is a dirty great big one of my engineers uploaded. But yes, a whole lot of content you can upload into Flight. Now, a little bit further about these smart albums. So these icons, these smart albums, they're all inbuilt into Flight. And the idea here is that whenever you upload something into Flight, it will automatically appear into one of those smart albums. I'm going to talk a little bit about the groupings over here, the folders and albums in a minute. But just to distinguish it, the smart albums happen automatically. Another thing that also happens automatically is my upload. So if you've uploaded anything recently into Flight and you're looking for it, you can just go over here into uploads and it'll show you where that content is. All right, now then, getting back into the folders and the albums. So over here on the left-hand side, you see my list of folders, and I'm going to talk mainly about the genre and the location folders here. Now then, if I open up genre and go to the content, you can see that on the left, I've got a range of what's called albums. Basically, you put your assets into albums, and albums are organized into folders, is the storage structure within Flight. And you can see I've got a simple structure here. I've got genre, and then I've got a range of different albums. Each one of these albums is also shown across the screen here as an image, a thumbnail, and if I click on those, I can navigate straight into that album. You can see I've got some images. I've also got a audio file over here, all under the romance genre. I can go back up to genre here. I can go and look at, say, fantasy, and I can see the different images associated with the fantasy genre. Okay. So that gives you a simple way at organizing your content based upon, again, folders are the organizational structure, and then albums are the unit or the item that you place within a folder, and then you place the assets within an album. It simply stops things getting confusing about whether you should put your images, your assets into a folder or into an album. You always put them into an album. Now then, that's a simple structure there. It's a flat structure. Locations, on the other hand, this is a more complex structure. You see in the top level here, I've got folders for Australia and for New Zealand, folders shown with a folder icon in them. And I've also put the album for Singapore straight in there. And the reason is simple. Singapore is both a city, an island, and a country all in one. There's not much subdivision happens in Singapore. But say if we go into Australia, you'll see that I've got a range of different albums here for different cities. I've got Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and some of the places I've been recently: Great Ocean Road, Far North Queensland, or Central Australia. And you can see again, all of these have got the icon on them. If I go into Brisbane here, You can see a range of different images there. If I wanted to reset the image that was being used to this one here, from the preview over here, I can just click this button here, and that's going to set my album cover for Brisbane. So if I go back up here to Australia, we'll see Brisbane showing that new album cover. Now then, there's no real limit to the number of folders that you can have embedded within each other. I think really what you'll find is eventually things will be sticking out here to the far right of that area that's been allocated to folders and albums. So practically, depending upon how long the names you're using there, probably about 3 or 4 album folders deep is suitable. As you can see here, I've really set up quite a nice structure here using a 2 folder level structure. Okay, now then, right, Julie's asked whether you can store PDFs in presentations, whether you can store a presentation as a PDF, or I think that's what you're asking, Julie, or are you asking whether a PDF can be inserted into a presentation? If the PDF's in the PowerPoint file, then yes, you can upload it. And yes, several of the PDFs, the documents that I've got here, are in fact presentations. I'll just see if I've really got one in here. This one here, this is a sort of like a presentation, but yeah, these are mainly documents. But yes, if your presentation, say you turn PowerPoint into a PDF, you'd be able to upload it into Flight, and it would be within your document sub-album or within any of the albums that you've set up over here on the left-hand side. Okay, good. Right, now then, if you just want to get back to the beginning at any time, you just click up here into the top left-hand corner where your icon is, and I'll talk more about branding later, and that takes you back to the beginning here. So if you lose your way, just click up into the icon in the top left-hand corner. Okay, and so we've talked a little bit about storage structures here, what you can do with assets. Let's do a little bit of searching up here. Okay, and so you can see I can search globally, which is what I'm going to do, but please notice you can just search within the results that you've got on screen. I'm going to start off searching for blue. Blue's my favorite search term. And I end up with 6 assets here, and if we click on these and go and have a look at the metadata, so you get to the metadata with this little arrow at the bottom of the screen here, you can see this one's got the keyword of blue associated with it, which is why my search has pulled it up. I am going to talk a little bit more about the metadata in just a second there, so we will be looking at these keywords and these tags in some details, but I just wanted to show you that yep, we've got this keyword blue associated with a range of these different assets, which is why my search gave me back these 6 assets. Let's now search in city. Okay, city. Now then, you can see I've got 2 albums showing here, these 2 albums, and 5 assets. So it'll be the same thing when we go and look at the metadata in these ones over here. We'll see city is being tagged in there somehow. But let's go and look at that album, and I can look at the metadata for an album by going to the arrow down the bottom there. And you can see here that I've said that Singapore is both a country and a city, and so it's picked out the word city from the description. So this does mean that you can search across all of the different content within the Flight system. It doesn't need to specifically be a keyword or a tag. Okay then, here's another question. All right, James has asked, can folders and albums have individual rights associated? Yes, they can, definitely. And the scenario that I'm going to show later on is going to talk about how you use portals. And during that, I'll be showing how you can set up the permissions for a folder, which is how you apply the individual rights associated with it, and share that out to a nominated audience of people. Okay, and so yes, you can definitely place individual rights onto folders. Okay. Right, now then, let's have a little bit more about the metadata here. I'm going to look at my Brisbane photo here. Again, I'm going down to the metadata screen here, and I'm first going to look across the left-hand side of the screen here. I'm going to look at the metadata that's embedded in the asset first, this area down here. You can see that we've got information like the size, the dimensions, when it was uploaded, who uploaded, the photographer that took the file, and again you can see that little message appearing when I put the cursor over that field, so it tells you who the author is, name of the file, the type. And if we click on the More button here, you will see that it shows the complete list of all of the embedded metadata that was pulled out of that file. Okay. Now this will vary depending upon what assets, what files you've uploaded into the system, and so when we go to different assets and click on more, you will see different amounts of metadata, and it's all got to do with what was in the file when it was uploaded into Flight. Okay then, now then, I'm always asked about GPS, so I thought I'd show it now. So if I just search on GPS, we've got these couple of images here, some of our little bears, and you'll see here that we've got the longitude and latitude being shown, and also the GPS time, image direction, and we can see this was all taken off an iPhone. And yes, the iPhone, which is typical of most cameras these days, embed the GPS information into the image at the time that it's been captured. Okay, so I thought I'd just go there first and show that. Right, back over here to my Brisbane image. And so this, the metadata that's embedded in a file is shown under Details. Up here under Information, this is metadata that we've created. These are custom fields. So you can see we've got an asset reference, a number that we apply to an asset. We've got a record management ID. This is just an example of how I've set it up, which might come from your record management system here. We've got a ranking, and this ranking is a pull down here. See how we can set different values in the pull down? And we've also got a related assets here. I'll show, if we've got time, I'll show an example of relating assets together, and that's where the related assets come from. And then above there, we've got the approval status, and we'll do more on the approval status when I show that example with the portals. And you can see that this asset is approved, and the expiration date here is going to be the 13th of August 2016 next year. Okay, now then, right, let's go over here to some of the documents, because another example of the information being extracted out of files comes with the document. So if we go to the document text somewhere here, where have I lost the document text? Oh, have I lost it here? It was here just a moment ago. Oh, no, it's the wrong file. That's why. That's why I went to the wrong file. It's the readme.txt there. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking over notes to my left here, and I just went to the wrong file there. Yep, document text here. So you can see this is all the text that was in that text file that's been extracted automatically. That's also metadata that is pulled out by Flight when you upload the file there. That's a good case from a document. And now if we go and look at one of these presentations, same thing happens over here with one of the PowerPoint files. So here it is, and that's all of the text that's been pulled out of the PowerPoint file. Very powerful feature. It basically is giving you metadata for free because it's pulling all of that information out as you upload the file into Flight. Okay then, now then, let's get back to my Brisbane file. Okay, so just go back here. Click on that. Right, and moving around the screen here. So I'm now going to get into the middle part here, the description. So the description is a textual description. You've seen when I've passed the cursor over the images, when they're in list view, the description appears as a little pop-up. You can just click on the button there and you can start typing anything you like there into the description. Moving across over here onto the album side. Now then, the albums are what one of the, just going back to our albums over here, which albums that you've cross-referenced this file into. And as we can see from our Brisbane image here, this one is in two albums. It's in the genre documentary album, and it's also in locations Australia, Brisbane. So you can have assets cross-referenced into multiple locations. It's not like they're being copied into different locations. They're just being cross-referenced into that location. Now, and if I wanted to add another album to it, I just click the add button here. I can scroll through them, or I can do a little search here because I want to add that to my local content as well. There we go. So that's now in my local content as well. So you can cross-reference an asset and any type of asset into multiple different albums, and when you do the navigation on the left-hand side, you will find those assets in numerous different locations, which is a good thing. Now then, moving down to keywords and tags. So these are basically tags that you want to associate with an asset that typically are going to be used in search and retrieve, as we did with city and with blue before. And they can also be descriptive. So when somebody looks at it, they can understand more about the asset based upon the keywords and tags associated with it. Now, and essentially, keywords and tags are very similar. There's just a simple difference between them. Keywords come from a predefined list, so I just click on that and I get a list of all of those. I can just type in a letter and it'll scroll ahead to the appropriate area here. So if I wanted to add that to cinema, for example, I could add the keyword cinema to this asset at any time, and you can also see I can just click on the cross that appears there and remove that keyword. Okay, and so that comes from what you might call a controlled vocabulary, and I'll show you later on when we get into the settings where you set those keywords up. Tags are simpler. You just type them in here. So this is black and white. So I could just type that tag in there. Okay, I might also add another type in there, even though you can't see bridge, and you can see here that it also shows me any other tags that I've typed before. So I've now added the bridge tag to that as well. That said, it's really a matter of whether you want the keywords to come from a controlled list or whether you want the people to be able to enter tags free form. And that's really the difference between keywords and tags. Okay, and just to show you that working, so on good days of the week, I can search on bridge, and there we go. There's my asset there, and it's been tagged under bridge. Okay then. Right, now then, just finishing off a few more things, and then we're going to, we'll be about halfway through the presentation. I'm just trying to move ahead at a fair clip to reach my 40-minute objective there. So, what these little icons are underneath the images, and you'll see this is true of any type, whether it's an image, whether it's a video or a document. This is how you add an image to your favorites. My favorites are over here, and you can get to them at any time. Basically, they're items that you've tagged that you particularly like. You can see that you can like images, just a social media type of thing. And we can also do a download. So when we go and a download here from the download icon, you'll see that we get to pick a range of different download formats that we'd like to download that image as. All of the images come in their original format, a low res and a high res JPEG and a PNG. Okay, now then, So now then, the next bit that I'm going to do is talk a little bit about sharing. So to going to sharing, I'll go back to my favorite album over here under Brisbane and open up my black and white image again. Now then, sharing or collaboration is a very important part of flight. It's what it's really all about, and that's part of the ACE acronym here. Now, one of the immediate ways that you can share content is from the comments area here. So with comments, the idea is that you use the @ tag and then you put in somebody's name, and it's going to look up this name from the list of users that have been set up in flight. So Jerome, he's a friend of mine. He works over at Folks, which is down in Sydney, and I can say, right, and he's going to get an email now, and it's going to have a link directly back to those images. And he is a user of Flight. And we can see if we go up to my message board up here, this is where you can see people have tagged images back to me. So, for example, here is where Jerome put a comment back onto that image that I sent him. Here's one from Brendan. And you can also see some other messages or alerts coming back to me under the message board. So the comments area, this is how you can share content with other users of Flight, or off to the sharing icon over here. Now then, this is where Canto have built in a whole range of different integrations within Flight to allow you to share content via a whole range of different mediums. I'm going to start off by sharing out to emails, but also we've got Dropbox, Facebook, Box. I'm going to talk a little bit about Box, Pinterest, Twitter, or just generating a link. So just if I want to go to the email here, so I'm going to email Jerome again, mainly because it's a quick email address to type in. I can set an expiry date. So I want this link for Jerome to only work until August the 14th. And Jerome, okay, and when I hit the submit button here, that email is going to be sent to Jerome, and he's going to get a message. And when we get into reports, we'll see that message, the reporting on that. Now then, also, we can at any time integrate with a range of different social media content here. So if I go to my Pinterest, I've got a Pinterest account set up. So when I click the continue button here, it already has me logged into Pinterest, and you can see it goes straight up to taking me to this item, and I can choose which board I want to share this in Pinterest with. Normally somebody would have a whole range of different boards here. I've just got one here, so I've just put that onto my Flight shared images within Pinterest. Okay, we'll do some more with the sharing. Now, to do that, I first need to get to my videos. Okay, because we've got some special sharing capabilities for videos. So I've just gone to, this is an MP4, and we can do a share out to YouTube. So if I just click on the YouTube icon there, it's going to log me into my YouTube account. You can see I'm already authorized on YouTube there. So go back here, click the continue button, and okay, I've now shared that out to YouTube. You can also do that sharing with Vimeo as well. So there's a whole range of different sharing capabilities in Flight. Okay, and so far with those sharing capabilities, we've really been talking about pushing content from Flight into a social media channel. Now over here, under my folders, you can see I've also got this one here, which has got the box icon on it. So box is a very popular means within corporates of sharing content. Now, how this integration works is that it really pulls information from Box into Flight. So in my Box account, I've got a folder called Upload to Flight, and whenever I've put an image into there, it immediately comes up here into Flight. when I get it into flight, you can see I can do everything with it. I can preview it. It's extracted all of the metadata. I can add descriptions. I can put it into different albums, add keywords. So I can treat it just like any other image that's been uploaded into flight. Okay, now then. Now, this is going to answer James' question, and it shows another important aspect of flight. And this is all about the portals feature within Flight. So far, we've been looking at the main UI, the main interface, the main portal, if you like. It's basically where myself, and I'm classified as what's called a pilot user, being that I can do anything, and any of my other staff, which I've set up as crew members, can log in and can manage all of the content. But over here, you can see I've got this folder called My Client down here. And within My Client, I've got two albums being corporate images. And please note, we've got maybe about 8 different images there. And we've got lifestyle images as well. Okay, now then, let's just quickly have a look at the approval status of these images. So if you remember, when we're going through the metadata, there was a field there to say whether the image was approved or not. So I'm going to use the filter capability up here, and I'm going to see of these assets, which ones have been approved. And you can see only 5. We've got another 3 pending. Okay, so we just go back here, and you can see over in my lifestyle images, I've got 5 of those have been approved, and there's 2 more that are pending. Okay, right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what this portal is going to look like for somebody that I'm calling my client. It's really a generic setup. Maybe this could be another company that we work with and we want to share content to. Maybe we've got an agency, like we deal with an agency. Suzanne is our designer, and we might want to share content with Suzanne. So we would do that via a portal, and this can achieve allowing you to set up the individual rights associated with a folder that James talked about. So over here, you can see that I can choose to go to a portal. And I'm just doing this to basically show you in this presentation. I'm going to choose My Client portal there. Click the Submit button, and that's going to open up a new tab for me. And you can see in the URL that's been set up here, that we've got My Client stipulated into this URL. So it's a different URL, or it's a different link from my general portal. So I could send this link to Suzanne, and she could log in, and we could share content together. And you can see that I've branded this differently. I've got a different company logo over here. As we go and have a look in it, you can see that there is a different range of features available. But importantly, when we go and look at the content, you can see that of my corporate images, I'm only showing those 5 images that have been approved. And within my lifestyle images, there's only the 5 lifestyle images that have been approved as well. So no content that hasn't yet been approved would be showing in one of these portals, which is how you can do your initial control of what content you share out to another user via a portal. Now, let me just complete answering this question here. I'm going to go into my settings. You can see that this is the settings panel. I won't spend a lot of time here. I'm going to do a little bit on the reports in a minute, but I'm just going to go over here into portals. So let's have a look at my setup for my client portal. So you can see here, you give it a title so you can understand it. You nominate what the URL you want to have suffixed onto your main login. And I was asked the other day whether you can have a login or a URL that doesn't read one of these ones with the standard flight information. And the answer is yes. You can order your flight portal with a URL of your preference. We've given it a description here. We've shared this out to all staff within DataBasics, so all of my team can access this. And my friend Jerome, he can access this portal. He's from my client. Over here under capabilities, so this is where you can set up what capabilities you want a user to have within a portal. So I don't want them to change the folder or album structure. I definitely don't want them to be able to delete content, but I've allowed Jerome to do everything else that he would normally be able to do within a portal. But this is where you can choose what level of capabilities that a user will have with a portal. You then set which content, so you can see I've chosen my client folder as the content that I'm showing. And then over here under branding, this is where I've set the branding that appears within the portal. I've got a different primary and secondary color. I've got a separate logo, and I've got a statement here that's about my client. So, Jerome, he would really honestly think that this portal has been set up for him and is all about his company. Okay, so now then, I'm just going to quickly go through reports, take a few questions. I can see a few questions have come along, and then wrap up the session for this morning. Thank you for being interactive. You've been a great audience there. So yes, these reports, this is one of the new things that Canto has added to Flight in the last couple of releases. So I was just going to show a couple of these different reports so we can look at how we're using our storage or the type of content we've got stored. So this little diagram showing storage by volume or by number of files. A little table down the bottom here can show the exact details here. And you can also filter this based upon a particular range. So we can go back in history and have a look at what was happening in December. So we had less content in December. Here we can go and have a look at top downloads and shared files. Everybody wants to know what is the most popular files that have been shared or downloaded. So I can click maybe on this icon here. So you can see the reports are quite interactive. That's going to take me straight to that image so I can see immediately what that image that is so popular. It's my Brisbane photograph. Then we're going to have a look at the sharing channels. That one's down here. So you can see email by far the most popular, and you can see it's separated by images or videos. Pinterest comes along next, creating just the standard link. So I did share this out via an email, but you can also just create the link and paste that into, you could be putting that into your social media, into your email, into your website, whichever you like, and also YouTube coming up here as well. And I did promise we could look at the email sharing history. So you can see here, these are the emails that I've sent out from Flight. You can see this is the one that I've sent out to Jerome today. And what's really good is you can click on that link there and it'll take you to show exactly what that content was. So I just shared that one image with Jerome. If we go back and have a look at this one, you can see this one was 3 images at once, right? So you can share out multiple content as well as sharing content individually. Okay then, now then, Aaron has asked, are portals a part of the standard Flight product? Yes, with Flight, there's 3 different initial packages. And with the one that's most popular, the business package, you do get portals. You can also add portals to the entry-level package as well. Okay, now then, a few other questions people are asking here. So one question is, can you edit or deal with multiple files at the same time? Yes, you certainly can. See this little button up there, the arrow? I can tick on multiple files. Right, so I could select those 4 files. I can then come down to here. So I could share all 4 of those at one time. Remember that report on the email sharing that showed 3 files. So maybe we've done it from there. Or we can do something like edit the metadata for all 4 of those files at once. So maybe I wanted to add into the description it's just a little comment to remind me that they were updated in the webinar in July. Okay, and somebody's asked about the can you have a custom login page? Yes. So if you remember, right at the beginning of the presentation, when I logged in, you can see this is my own image here, my own welcome message up here and logo. Just going back into Flight and up to settings. Under configurations, we can set under the custom branding here, the title, the welcome text, and the image that you want to have appearing there. Okay. Yes, there is an iPad version of Flight as well. Yes. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Now, are there any questions? I can't see any more questions coming in. But now, of course, you can contact anybody here at DataBasics, myself, Linda or Ontra. Linda and Ontra are both sitting in the room here. There's a form on our website that's all about Flight. A couple other things. There is a knowledge base over here. Ontra's just reminded me. It's from Canto. Lots of helpful information about Flight. There's also a latest update page from Canto about what's new in Flight. And just to mention now then, one of the things that I wanted to show, and I'll get to do it in the next version of Flight, is the integration with InDesign. Oh, okay, it's not in this version. Yes, so there is now a drag and drop capability from Flight into InDesign, and I'll feature that in the presentation that we do in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, and thank you very much. There's right, Aaron's. Yes. There's another question. Can you see? Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yes, there is another question there. Ontra's just been able to point it out to me. It's all HTML5, and it's responsive design. I typically on my iPad, I just log into the website and use that. But there is the iPad app as well, and it's a very nice responsive design. You can use that. I've seen it used on. We test it here on, say, another Android-based smart device, and it works very nicely. Is that another question? Okay, right. Okay, Aaron says okay, right, good. Okay, and lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm going to close up the presentation now. Now, we will be sending out an email to everybody that registered and attended, and there will be a link to the recording of the webinar today. So thank you very much. Yes, yeah, I didn't see that before.